Good evening. Hi, Marmite. Has it ran out of battery? Been a while since I've done one of my reading streams without it. How is the volume? Is the volume of the mic okay? I haven't used this one for reading time. But yeah. Hello, Pluvium. Hello, Hugs. Greetings. Volume seems okay, maybe a bit quiet. A little quiet. I actually have to... I don't know how well this works. I have to turn it up on the mic itself because I'm actually already at max volume on my program. Is that any better? Is that any difference at all? Or do I need to try it? If I turn the music down a little bit, just a smidgen, I didn't notice a change. Really? And I'm only in my voice is now only in one dimension. It does not vary from the left or right anymore. But yeah, sorry, mic is dead, and I can change the battery. You have to unscrew the cover, but I don't actually have any 9-volt batteries. Probably more the music. Okay, just there we go. We have the music down there. And let me know if I need to adjust it more. But yeah, I don't have any 9-volt batteries, so I need to find some of those and then grab one of my granddad's screwdrivers and open it up and replace the battery. So yeah, fun fact. If you have a 3DO mic, don't forget to turn it off. There is a power switch at the back. Don't forget. Don't forget. It's just there's no light on the 3DO mic, right? There's nothing to tell you it's still on. So ended up on like, it's not been on basically since I got it, but sometimes I do find when I do another week of ASMR, like, oh, the mic is already on. Yeah. My apology. We are just using the normal. Hopefully it'll still be fine. I'll probably make it so when I come to compile the Alice in Wonderland readings into one video, I'll probably have to re-record this one. My PC I'm running FE, it's just like they've had a mild panic because it wouldn't come back on, but the monitor cable was just loose. Don't we love it when technology gives us an absolute fright? It's wonderful. I love it when that happens. I'm glad that it's fine and your cable. Anyway. Did I don't feel like I did. Did I do I feel like last week I didn't do a reading stream. Was that the week before? Remember? Did I miss a week? Have a look at my own channel. Wow, I'm live on my own channel twice. A load of that. Last week, yeah. Wait, no, last week streamed 6 days ago. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Good. Guess that was the week before last week. Either way, ignore me. I mean, I didn't even remember for myself. I'm not gonna expect anyone else to remember. That was when I was asleep. Being asleep is good. Rest is good. Either way, we're gonna be continuing with Alice in Wonderland. We're going through the chapters a bit faster than I expected. But the chapters are a bit shorter than I expected. Hello, Dan. Yeah, we're gonna continue. We'll continue with the land. What time? Benefits of sleep, get well rested, dream of cat ? Downside, get no work done, miss cat streams. Okay, but there's at least the VODs are there like 9 times out of 10. I would rather people get rest. You know, if I can't get rest, least I can do is hope that other people get rest. Need to catch up on the remote shenanigans. Yeah, you got kidnapped. Well, you nearly got kidnapped. Close. Then you had to sleep outside because my hospital hasn't built. You lived. That's the important part. You were really mad. Like your tune, your porn the entire time. You went sad walking, and then you went psychotic walking, and then you followed everyone around insulting them. And then you went psychotic walking again. And then you decided to like go around the camp and like start kicking things and breaking them. That's just how it was. Hello, Circuit. So, yeah, your tune was having a time because your wife died. Okay, there was a heat stroke or heat wave. Yeah, your wife just perished in the 54 degrees heat. Either way, it's fine. It all got better. It all was all okay. I've actually started downloading some mods for RimWorld, like little quality of life ones, like things where you can like replace the walls with different materials without deconstructing and reconstructing, and some cosmetic mods that add more hairstyles because that is a priority. Having good looking pawns in Room World. Very important. Anyway, we'll begin reading for the night. Continuing with chapter 3 of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Let me know at any time if I need to fix the volume of my mic. Obviously, I am using my normal one. If you are at work, studying, or doing homework, I do hope your work goes well. I do hope it goes with as little stress as possible. If you are just relaxing, chilling, I hope you relax well. And if you're planning on getting some sleep, please do sleep well. You shouldn't get woken up by any sounds, as I will not be yelling, I will not be shouting, and I cannot raid on you. So there is no risk of any of that. We will begin. I will not be reading chat. I will not be responding to chat while I read the chapters. But if you still want to talk, I will catch up with everything that was said. Reach the end of each chapter. Chapter 3. A Caucus Race and a Long Tail. They were indeed a queer-looking party that assembled on the bank. The birds with draggled feathers, the animals with their fur clinging close to them, and all dripping wet, cross and uncomfortable. The first question, of course, was how to get dry again. They had a consultation about this, and after a few minutes, it seemed quite natural to Alice to find herself talking familiarly with them, as if she had known them all her life. Indeed, she had quite a long argument with the Lorry, who at last turned sulky and would only say, "I am older than you, and must know better." And this Alice could not allow without knowing how old it was. And, as the Lorry positively refused to tell its age, there was no more to be said. At last the mouse, who seemed to be the person of authority among them, called out, "Sit down, all of you, and listen to me. I'll make you dry enough." They all sat down at once, in a large ring, with the mouse in the middle. Alice kept her eyes anxiously fixed on it, for she felt sure she would catch a bad cold if she did not get dry very soon. "Ahem," said the mouse with an important air. "Are you all ready? This is the driest thing I know. Silence all round, if you please. William the Conqueror, whose cause was favoured by the Pope, was soon submitted to by the English, who wanted leaders, and had been of late much accustomed to usurpation and conquest. Edwin and Morcar, the Earls of Mercia and Northumbria." "Ugh," said the Lorry with a shiver. "I beg your pardon," the mouse, frowning, but very politely. "Did you speak?" "Not I," said the Lorry hastily. "I thought you did," said the mouse. "I proceed. Edwin and Morcar, the Earls of Mercia and Northumbria, declared for him, and even Stigand, the patriotic Archbishop of Canterbury, found it advisable." "Found what?" said the duck. "Found it," the mouse replied rather crossly. "Of course you know what it means." "I know what it means well enough. When I find a thing," said the duck, "generally a frog or a worm. The question is, what did the Archbishop find?" The mouse did not notice this question, but hurriedly went on. "Found it advisable to go with Edgar Atheling to meet William and offer him the crown. William's conduct at first was moderate, but the insolence of his Normans— How are you getting on now, my dear?" continued, turning to Alice as it spoke. "As wet as ever," said Alice in a melancholy tone. "Doesn't seem to dry me at all." "In that case," said the dodo solemnly, rising to its feet, "I move that the meeting adjourn for the immediate adoption of more energetic remedies." "Speak English," said the eaglet. "I don't know how the meaning of half of those long words, and what's more, I don't believe you do either." And the eaglet bent its head to hide a smile. Some of the other birds tittered audibly. "What I was going to say," said the dodo in an offended tone, "was that the best thing to get astride would be a caucus race." "What is a caucus race?" said Alice. Not that she much wanted to know. The dodo had paused, as if it thought that somebody ought to speak, and no one else seemed inclined to say anything. "Why," said the dodo, "the best way to explain it is to do it. And, as you might like to try the thing yourself some winter day, I will tell you how the dodo managed it. First, it marked out a race course, in a sort of circle. The exact shape doesn't matter, it said. And then all the party were placed along the course here and there. There was no 1, 2, 3 and away, but they began running when they liked, and left off when they liked. It was not easy to know when the race was over. However, when they had been running half an hour or so, and were quite dry again, the dodo suddenly called out, 'The race is over!' And they all crowded round it, panting and asking, 'So who has won?' This question the dodo could not answer without a great deal of thought, and it sat for a long time with one finger pressed upon its forehead, a position in which you usually see Shakespeare in pictures of him, while the rest waited in silence. At last the dodo said, 'Everybody has won, and all must have prizes.' 'But who is to give the prizes?' quite a chorus of voices asked. 'Why, she, of course,' said the dodo, pointing to Alice with one finger, and the whole party at once crowded round to her, calling out in a confused way, 'Prizes! Prizes!' Alice had no idea what to do, and in despair she put her hand in her pocket and pulled out a box of comfits. Luckily the salt water had not got into it, and handed them round as prizes. There was exactly one apiece all round. 'But she must have a prize herself, you know,' said the mouse. 'Of course,' the dodo replied very gravely. 'What else have you got in your pocket?' he went on, turning to Alice. 'Only a thimble,' said Alice sadly. 'Hand it over here,' said the dodo. Then they all crowded round her once more, while the dodo solemnly presented the thimble, saying, 'We beg your acceptance of this elegant thimble.' And when it had finished this short speech, they all cheered. Alice thought the whole thing was very absurd, but they all looked so grave that she dare not laugh. As she could not think of anything to say, she simply bowed, took the thimble, looking as solemn as she could. The next thing was to eat the comfits. This caused some noise and confusion, as the large birds complained that they could not taste theirs, and the small ones choked and had to be patted on the back. However, it was over at last, and they sat down in a ring and begged the mouse to tell them something more. 'You promised to tell me your history, you know,' said Alice, 'and why it is you hate C and D,' she added in a whisper, half afraid that it would be offended again. 'Mine is a long and sad tale,' said the mouse, turning to Alice and sighing. 'It is a long tale, certainly,' said Alice, looking down with wonder at the mouse's tail. 'Why do you call it sad?' And she went on puzzling about it while the mouse was speaking, so that her idea of the tale was something like this. Fury said to a mouse that he met in the house, 'Let us both go to the law. I will prosecute you. Come, I'll take no denial. We must have a trial. For really this morning I've nothing to do,' said the mouse to the cur. 'Such a trial, dear sir, with no jury or judge, would be wasting our breath. I'll be the judge. I'll be the jury, said cunning old Fury. I'll try the whole cause and condemn you to death. You are not attending, said the mouse to Alice severely. What are you thinking of? I beg your pardon, said Alice very humbly. You had got to the fifth bend, I think? I had not, cried the mouse angrily. And not, said Alice, always ready to make herself useful and looking anxiously about her. Oh, do let me help you undo it. I shall do nothing of the sort, said the mouse, getting up and walking away. You insult me by talking such nonsense. I didn't mean it, pleaded poor Alice, but you're so easily offended, you know. The mouse only growled in reply. Please come back and finish your story, Alice called after it, and the others all joined in chorus. Yes, please do. But the mouse only shook its head impatiently and walked a little quicker. What a pity it wouldn't stay, cried the lorry as soon as it was quite out of sight, and an old crab took the opportunity of saying to her daughter, Ah, my dear, let this be a lesson to you to never lose your temper. Hold your tongue, Ma, said the young crab a little snappishly. You've enough to try the patience of an oyster. I wish I had our Dina here, I know I do, said Alice aloud, addressing no one in particular. She'd soon fetch it back. And who is Dina, if I might venture to ask the question, said the lorry. Alice replied eagerly, for she was always ready to talk about her pet. Dina's our cat. Oh, she's such a capital one for catching mice you can't think. And oh, I wish you could see her after the birds. Why, she'll eat a little bird as soon as look at it. This speech caused a remarkable sensation amongst the party. Some of the birds hurried off at once. One old magpie began wrapping itself up very carefully, remarking, I really must be getting home. The night air doesn't suit my throat. And a canary called out in a trembling voice to its children, Come away, my dears. It's high time you were all in bed. On various pretexts, they all moved off, and Alice was soon left alone. I wish I hadn't mentioned Dina, she said to herself in a melancholy tone. Nobody seems to like her down here, and I'm sure she's the best cat in the world. Oh, my dear Dina, I wonder if I shall ever see you any more. And here poor Alice began to cry again, for she felt very lonely and low-spirited. In a little while, however, she again heard a little pattering of footsteps in the distance, and she looked up eagerly, half hoping that the mouse had changed his mind and was coming back to finish his story. Maybe Dina was the best cat in the world in the 1800s. I wasn't a cat in the 1800s. I will happily give Dina the position of best cat. Also, I just want to say, you guys can't see it, but the thing about being hundreds or thousands of years old was just a fib. Oh, no, I just wasn't on Earth. I've mentioned before, I'm from the edge of the universe, where it meets the void. So I've only had a human form. I've only had a human form for 26 years. Hope you're having a good night. Hey Dan, Wonderland isn't on Earth either, but Dina is. Dina is Alice's cat at home. And that's why she's saying that she can't see Dina anymore, because she's in Wonderland and not at home. So no, Dina is the best cat on Earth. I wasn't on Earth at the time. I also wasn't a cat at the time. yeah, no, I'm having a good night, Dan. I hope you're doing well as well. Honestly. You're trying to pick holes in my lore. No. Doesn't work like that. I know how, well, I don't know exactly how old I am. I thought I was only 20,000 years old, but I might be older. I don't actually... I'm unsure. Unsure exactly. You know, when it gets to several thousand years, kind of easy to keep track. Doesn't matter really that much. I am an age. I exist. That's all I know for sure. Going alright, trying to do vocal exercises, get my voice to a serviceable level. That even is possible. Oh, singing exercises? I wish you luck. Last time I did voice exercises, oh, I feel like it was a mistake. I ended up not being able to sing like any kind of high-pitched anything. I guess I really should stop calling you a cat girl. I haven't revealed what I actually am, so cat girl is fine. They refer to themselves as a cat girl sometimes. Yeah, it's okay to refer to me as a cat girl, because that's what I am appearing as. And I haven't revealed my true form, so you can't call me by what the name of my true form is. Will you ever reveal what you really are? I do intend to. Eventually. Just, not as convenient as, I wish it was. Because when I reveal what I really am, I also I wanna actually reveal a bit more of history. My creation. Are you a Sonic OC? No. No, I'm not a Sonic OC. I'm gonna press X to skip the 20-minute lore dump after Puri final battle and missile anyway. Puri final battle scene? What am I? Means you're a Homestuck OC. No. No, I'm not a... You know how some people do actually have designs that you can look at them and be like, yeah, that used to be an OC for something. That used to, like, you look at someone's D&D tiefling and you're like, yeah, that was a Homestuck troll. I can tell. No, I exist purely as a VTuber. That is all I was made for. No, it's not. Well, I saw that this appearance was for. But yeah, no. One day I will properly reveal my lore and backstory and true self. But I don't know when that will be. I don't know how I'm fully gonna do it. Honestly, it's kind of one of those things where it's like I want to put a bunch of thought into how to do it, but my means right now mean if I put a bunch of thought into it, I'll have to write it down, or else I'll just probably forget it by the time that I actually have the money to commission like assets for it. Why it's so big, or it's just something I'm very particular about. I want the reveal to be like dramatic. I want it to feel like it was worth you guys, like people waiting for all this time. I don't want it to be like, oh, well they were this the entire time. Okay, whatever, anyway. Boring. I have always written stories. I've always had characters and like their journey and story have always been quite it's been kind of an important thing for it to be portrayed correctly. So I guess for me, it's also quite important that my story is portrayed and displayed and understandable and in the right form. For a lack of gender reveal party. So I think some people have already figured it out, and so for them, when the reveal comes out, they'll be like, oh, I was right, okay. Yeah, anyway. But I want it to feel like everything's come together. I want it to feel like when you find out, I want it to be like, oh my god, it's so obvious now, but I didn't realize, oh, it makes sense now. That's what I want. I want it to be like when you reach the end of a well-written like mystery book and all the pieces fall together. And maybe it's too big of an ask, but I don't know. A good anime to make a lore movie. I don't know if I'll go as far as a movie. That's why they eat horrid things like vinegar sandwiches. That's unrelated. That's because I just grew up with, well, a lot of bread in my household, and when bread is starting to get stale, they're British. Yes. You'll say like bread, and then stale bread is bad. Vinegar on the bread, and that starts to break down the bread and makes it softer. That's not related to what I am. Yeah, maybe I should be less particular about it, and one day just be like, this is me. This is my true form. Doesn't no, I don't eat moldy bread. Oh, ugh. This thing. No, it's just when bread starts to get a little bit stale, just a little bit hard around the edges. Every time I see bread, I think of you now. Thank you. Me. The one who eats the bread. No one else on this planet has eaten bread before. Are you bread? I am not bread. Bread is tasty though. That means you're vinegar? You mean I'm not base? Base is a alkali? Wait, no, base is acid. Fuck, I got it the wrong way around. How about bread is puree? What? Base is an acid, isn't it? Like if something is more of a bug. I'm just forgetful. I can't remember how things are. Oh, okay, actually what is it? Hold on. It's bases, yeah. So base is an acid? No. Bases is an alkali. No, it's a what? Bases is alkalis? Wait, no, there's a difference? Oh, not all bases are alkali, but all alkali is base. Okay. Impromptu science stream. Oh, an alkali is a base that is soluble in water. Wait, but why was I taught alkali was the opposite of an acid? If actually the opposite of an acid is a base. Why would they teach that alkali I'm gonna lose my shit. They taught me science wrong. They taught me science wrong. Hate it here. Anyway, science aside, we will continue with reading Alice in Wonderland. I'm tired. I have stuff to do. I'm tired. No, I can't sleep because I slept for like 19 hours yesterday. I accidentally slept all the way until dinner actually. Slept all the way until dinner. So no, I'm not gonna be able to sleep again. So I just stayed up for an entire day for absolutely no reason. Didn't fix my sleep pattern, didn't do anything. I'm gonna get a call from the doctor on Monday, and I was like, oh, you know, I called. I was like, an appointment with the doctor. And the reception's like, yeah, of course, yeah, with this doctor appointment. I'm like, cool, okay. Okay, so it's gonna be on Monday. I'm like, alright, what time? Is it gonna be in the morning? Like, I was like, yeah, I was like, is it in the morning? And he was like, oh yeah, it's a blah, blah, blah. But he didn't say oh yeah, he said it's at, and then he said something. Mic is cutting off a lot of this voice. God damn it, okay. Can you turn away from the mic? God damn it, I'm sorry. But yeah, called the doctor. The guy on the reception, he was like, yeah, there's an appointment on Monday for this doctor that you want. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you. What is that gonna be in the morning? And he was like, oh, it's at and I was like, well, okay, thanks. I have no idea. I don't know what time. I have no idea what time I'm gonna get called by the doctor on Monday. That's fun. That's great. Love that. I'm gonna have to be awake on Monday. All Monday. From like 8 AM. Ah! Kill me. Anyway, let's continue reading. Chapter 4. The rabbit sends in Little Bill. It was the white rabbit, trotting slowly back again, and looking anxiously about as it went, as if it had lost something, and she heard it muttering to itself, the Duchess, my dear paws, oh my fur and whiskers, she'll get me executed, as sure as ferrets are ferrets. Why can I have dropped them, I wonder? Alice guessed in a moment that it was looking for the fan and the pair of white kid gloves, and she was very good-naturedly began hunting about for them, but they were nowhere to be seen. Everything seemed to have changed since her swim in the pool, and the great hall with the glass table and the little door had vanished completely. Very soon the rabbit noticed Alice as she went hunting about, and called out to her in an angry tone, "Why, Mary Ann, what are you doing out here? Run home this moment, and fetch me a pair of gloves and a fan. Quick now!" And Alice was so much frightened that she ran off at once in the direction it pointed to, without trying to explain the mistake he had made. "He took me for his housemaid," she said to herself as she ran. "How surprised he'll be when he finds out who I am. But I'd better take him his fan and gloves. That is, if I can find them." As she said this, she came upon a neat little house, on the door of which was engraved a bright brass plate with the name W. Rabbit upon it. She went in without knocking and hurried upstairs, in great fear lest she should meet the real Mary Ann. She turned out of the house before she had found the fan and gloves. "How queer it seems," Alice said to herself, "be going messages for a rabbit. I suppose Dina will be sending me on messages next." She began fancying the sort of thing that would happen. Miss Alice, come here directly and get ready for your walk. Coming in a minute, nurse. But I've got to watch this mouse hole till Dina comes back and see that the mouse didn't get out. Only I don't think, Alice went on, that they'd let Dina stop in the house if it began ordering people about like that. By this time, she had found her way into a tidy little room with a table on the window, and on it, as she had hoped, a fan and 2 or 3 pairs of tiny white kid gloves. She took up the fan and a pair of gloves, and was just going to leave the room when her eye fell upon a tiny bottle that stood near the looking glass. There was no label this time with the words "Drink me," but nevertheless she uncorked it and put it to her lips. I know something interesting is going to happen, she said to herself. Whenever I eat or drink anything, so I'll see what this bottle does. I do hope it'll make me grow large again, for really I'm quite tired of being such a tiny little thing. It did so indeed, and much sooner than she had expected. Before she had drunk half the bottle, she found her head pressing against the ceiling, and had to stoop to save her neck from being broken. She hastily put down the bottle, saying to herself, "That's quite enough. I hope I shan't grow any more. As it is, I can't get out at the door. I do wish I hadn't drunk quite so much." Alas, it was too late to wish that. She went on growing and growing, and very soon she had to kneel down on the floor. In another minute, there was not even room for this, and she tried the effect of lying down with one elbow against the door and the other arm curled around her head. Still she went on growing, and as a last resort, she put one arm out the window and one foot up the chimney, and said to herself, "Now I can do no more, whatever happens. What will become of me?" Luckily for Alice, the little magic bottle had now had its full effect, and she grew no larger, since it was very uncomfortable, and, as there seemed to be no sort of chance of her ever getting out of the room again, no wonder she felt unhappy. It was much pleasanter at home, thought poor Alice, when one wasn't always growing larger and smaller and being ordered about by mice and rabbits. I almost wish I hadn't gone down that rabbit hole. And yet, rather curious, you know, this sort of life. I do wonder what can have happened to me. When I used to read fairy tales, I fancied that kind of thing never happened. And now here I am, in the middle of one. There ought to be a book written about me, that there ought. And when I grow up, I'll write one. I'm grown up now, she added in a sorrowful tone. At least there's no room to grow up any more here. But then, thought Alice, shall I never get any older than I am now? That'll be a comfort one way, never to be an old woman. But then, always to have lessons to learn. Oh, I shouldn't like that. Oh, you foolish Alice, she answered herself. How can you learn lessons in here? Why, there's hardly room for you. No room at all for any lesson books. And so she went on, taking first one side and then the other, making quite a conversation of it altogether. But after a few minutes she heard a voice outside and stopped to listen. Mary Ann, said the voice. Fetch me my gloves this moment. Then came a little pattering of feet on the stairs. Alice knew it was the rabbit coming to look for her, and she trembled till the house shook, quite forgetting that she was now about 1,000 times as large as the rabbit, and had no reason to be afraid of it. Presently the rabbit came up to the door, and tried to open it, but as the door opened inward, and Alice's elbow was pressed hard against it, that attempt proved a failure. Alice heard it say to itself, I'll go round and I'll get in the window. That you won't, thought Alice, and after waiting till she fancied she heard the rabbit just under the window, she suddenly spread out her hand and made a snatch in the air. She did not get a hold of anything, but she heard a little shriek and a fall and a crash of broken glass, from which she concluded that it was possible it had fallen into a cucumber frame or something of the sort. Next came an angry voice, the rabbit's. "Pat, Pat, where are you?" And then a voice she had never heard before. "Sure then, I'm here. Digging for apples, Your Honour." "Digging for apples indeed," said the rabbit angrily. "Here, come and help me out of this." Sounds of more broken glass. "Now, tell me, Pat, what's that in the window?" "Sure, it's an arm, Your Honour." He pronounced it arum. "An arm, you goose! Who ever saw one that size? Why, it fills the whole window." "Sure it does, Your Honour, but it's an arm for all that." "Well, it's got no business there at any rate. Go and take it away." There was a long silence after this. Alice could only hear whispers now and then, such as, "Sure, I don't like it, Your Honour, at all, at all. Do as I tell you, you coward." And at last she spread out her hand again and made another snatch in the air. This time there were 2 little shrieks, and more sounds of broken glass. "What a number of cucumber frames there must be," thought Alice. "I wonder what they'll do next. As for pulling me out of the window, I only wish they could. I'm sure I don't want to stay in here any longer." He waited for some time without hearing anything more. At last came a rumbling of little cartwheels and the sound of many voices all talking together. He made out the words, "Where's the other ladder? Why, I hadn't to bring it but one. Bill's got the other. Bill, fetch it here, lad. Here, put 'em up at this corner. No, tie 'em together first. They don't reach half high enough yet. Oh, they'll do well enough. Don't be particular. Here, Bill, catch a hold of this rope. Pull the roof bare. Mind that loose slate. Oh, it's coming down, heads below." A loud crash. "Now, who did that? It was Bill, I fancy. Who's to go down the chimney?" "Nay, I shan't. You do it." "That I won't then. Bill's to go down. Here, Bill, the master says you to go down the chimney." "Oh, so Bill has to come down the chimney, has he?" said Alice to herself. "Why, they seem to put everything upon Bill. I wouldn't be in Bill's place for a good deal. This fireplace is narrow, to be sure, but I think I can kick a little." She drew her foot as far down the chimney as she could, and waited till she heard a little animal, she couldn't guess of which sort it was, scratching and scrambling about in the chimney, close above her. Then, saying to herself, "This is Bill," she gave one sharp kick, and waited to see what would happen next. The general thing she heard was a chorus of, "There goes Bill," then the rabbit's voice alone, "Catch him, you by the hedge." Then silence, then another confusion of voices. "Hold his head, brandy now, don't choke him. How was it, old fellow? What happened to you? Tell us all about it." And last came a little feeble, squeaking voice. "That's Bill," thought Alice. "Well, I know. No more, thank you. I'm better now. But I'm a deal too flustered to tell you. All I know is, something comes at me like a jack-in-the-box, and up I goes like a skyrocket." "So you did, old fellow," said the others. "We must burn the house down," said the rabbit's voice. And Alice called out as loud as she could, "You do! I'll set Dina at you." There was a dead silence instantly. Alice thought to herself, "I wonder what they will do next. If they had any sense, they'd take the roof off." After a minute or two, they began moving about again, and Alice heard the rabbit say, "A barrelful will do to begin with." "Barrelful of what?" thought Alice, but she had not long to doubt, for the next moment a shower of little pebbles came rattling in at the window, and some of them hit her in the face. "I'll put a stop to this," she said to herself, and shouted out, "You better not do that again," which produced another dead silence. Alice noticed with some surprise that the pebbles were all turning into little cakes as they lay on the floor, and a bright idea came into her head. "If I eat one of these cakes," she thought, "it's sure to make some change in my size. And, as it can't possibly make me larger, it must make me smaller, I suppose. So she swallowed one of the cakes, and was delighted to find she began shrinking directly. As soon as she was small enough to get through the door, she ran out of the house, and found quite a crowd of little animals and birds waiting outside. The poor little lizard, Bill, was in the middle, being held up by 2 guinea pigs, who were giving it something out of a bottle. They all made a rush at Alice the moment she appeared, but she ran off as hard as she could. Soon found herself safe in a thick wood. "The first thing I've got to do," said Alice to herself, as she wandered about in the woods, "is to grow to my right size again. And the second thing is to find my way into that lovely garden. I think that will be the best plan." It sounded like an excellent plan, no doubt, and very neatly arranged. The only difficulty was that she had not the smallest idea how to set about it. And while she was peering about anxiously among the trees, a little sharp bark just overhead made her look up in a great hurry. An enormous puppy was looking down at her with large round eyes, and feebly stretching out one paw, trying to touch her. "Poor little thing," said Alice in a coaxing tone, and she tried hard to whistle to it, but she was terribly frightened all the same at the thought that it might be hungry, in which case it would be very likely to eat her up in spite of all her coaxing. Hardly knowing what she did, she picked up a little bit of stick and held it out to the puppy, whereupon the puppy jumped into the air off all its feet at once, with a yelp of delight, and rushed at the stick, and made believe to worry it. Then Alice dodged behind a large thistle to keep herself from being run over, and the moment she appeared on the other side, the puppy made another rush at the stick, and tumbled head over heels in its hurry to get hold of it. Then Alice, thinking it was very like having a game of play with a cart horse, and expecting every moment to be trampled under its feet, ran round the thistle again. Then the puppy began a series of short charges at the stick, running a very little way forwards each time, and a very long way back, barking hoarsely all the while, till at last it sat down a good way off, panting, with its tongue hanging out of its mouth, and its great eyes half shut. This seemed to Alice a good opportunity for making her escape. So she set off at once, and ran till she was quite tired and out of breath, until the puppy's bark sounded quite faint in the distance. "And yet, what a dear little puppy it was," said Alice, as she leant against a buttercup to rest herself, and fanned herself with one of the leaves. "I should have liked teaching it tricks very much if I'd only been the right size to do it. Oh dear, I'd nearly forgotten that I've got to grow up again. Let me see, how is it to be managed? I suppose I ought to eat or drink something or other. The great question is, what?" The great question certainly was, what? Alice looked round her at all the flowers and the blades of grass, but she could not see anything that looked like the right thing to eat or drink under the circumstances. There was a large mushroom growing near her, about the same height as herself, and when she had looked under it, and on both sides of it, and behind it, it occurred to her that she might as well look and see what was on top of it. She stretched herself up on her tiptoe, and peeped over the edge of the mushroom, and her eyes immediately met those of a large blue caterpillar that was sitting on top with its arms folded, quietly smoking a long hookah, and taking not the smallest notice of her or of anything else. There we go. I like how Alice is like, yeah, I've got all these plans, but hold on, let me just play with this puppy real quick. Let me just. At least she managed to not offend this one by talking about cats. Honestly, Alice, please, can you not immediately I'm surrounded by mice and birds. Let me just mention my cat, who's really good at killing them. Like, alright, good job. 10 out of 10. Also, I just want to say, before I read this chapter, I had to look up how to pronounce caucus. I thought it was caucus. Apparently it's not. Apparently caucus is a real word. No idea. Thought it was just a made up Alice in Wonderland word. I think. I mean, Google had a real like thing for it, like a real definition thing for it. So, well, not definition, pronunciation for it. So I assume it's a real word. Also, hello, Jolly. Is that my voice? I always sound sleepy. It's a common in American pop. Wait, is it? Wait, what actually does it mean? Cork. Sure. Sure is a real word that means something. One of those politic words, yeah. Anyway. So it's a classic case of Alice in Wonderland being like, we're gonna take a word and we're gonna make it mean something different. Because it's nonsense. That's how this works. Alright. Anyway, that is where we will leave it. I will try and have my ASMR mic have a battery in it for next time. As soon as something similar in British politics, when all the members of the party get together and nominate their chosen candidates for positions. The only position that people really nominate someone for in a party is the actual like leader, the leadership permission. The members of a party are decided by who wins in a small region election. So I don't know. I don't know anything about politics. I don't like politics. Sure is a thing that exists. That's all I know. I'm too exhausted. Yeah, honestly. So yeah, I don't know how it works in the UK. Fine. Okay, I thought my face had decided to start bleeding, but no, fine. Okay, anyway. Does the UK even have a prime minister anymore? I think so. But it lost. Yeah, we went through a lot of prime ministers real quick. Who is it? Who is it right now? Currently, Rishi Sunak. Yeah. Yeah, we have a dude. There's a person in charge. It was a bit of a mess for a little while though. But fortunately it seems to be over, and you know, they've calmed down, so originates from Britain, in fact. Well, when in my like short, how's Brexit going? I don't know. I think I have to get a visa to visit Europe now, I think. I don't know. Money UK term seems to be parliamentary party. Oh, it's just a party? Oh. Well, did you guys ever pull that off? Like, kind of, but also no, but yes. Kind of. It's a very messy thing that I don't really understand. It just makes it so it costs more money for me to go to Europe now. Yay! I hate politics. I think you should solve the issue with Ireland, but what? No! No, I don't think they'd be very happy if we did that. The border issue? No, no. I don't think I wanna, I don't think I want us to invade Ireland. What's a double digit number that you like? Are you asking numbers this odd? Like, unfortunately, my lucky number is actually a single digit number. A good double digit number. One. 21. But no, my favorite number is 6. But that's a single. That's my lucky number. But it's a single digit number. My ancestors there give you permission? No. 6 is the best number. You agree? Yeah. Yeah, 6 has always been my favorite number. It's a good number. It's even. It's just a nice number. It's just a nice number, you know? It's got a lot of factors. 1, 2, and 3. Good number. You don't like odd numbers? Only multiples of 5. I like odd numbers, but they've got to be multiples of 5. I see how it is. Sorry. Shape of the digits good, easy to picture 2 sets of 3 dots in your mind. It's nice. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. 6 is the best number. Anyway, we're gonna end. I'll make myself even. I mean, isn't your favorite number? Isn't your number 95? That's a multiple of 5. That's still fine. Multiples of 5 are like an honorary even number. Like, you know how when you adjust the volume on your TV, like you can't have the volume set to 33, right? It has to be like 30, 34 or 32. But it's okay if a TV is at like 25. Like, that's okay. That's fine. 27? No. People think it's my birth year, but I'm not that old. I need to change it. Yeah. I think a lot of like 80s and 90s numbers people think are birth years. Alright, anyway. I'm gonna finish off. So that I can do some stuff. I got some business stuff I need to take care of. Gemma ruined an entire bracket of numbers. What's his? 985? Is that his number? Alright, anyway. We will continue next week once I have batteries. I'm gonna have to re-record. Alison was born in 1980. Germa is in his... Germa's nearly 40? Germa's nearly... Oh, Jesus. Okay, wow. For the amount of people who call him baby girl, I definitely thought he was younger. Good grief. Why are people on the internet the way they are? I will never get over this. Miss Purity, I'm still here. Baby girl is a state of mind. Alright, anyway. I will be back on Sunday for Spyro Enter the Dragonfly. I don't know if I'm gonna change schedule again. I don't know if I can do however many days I do in a row in my current schedule. I'm too much of a sleepy 40-year-old with baby girl energy. It's concerning. Comfy Spyro streams? Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna be finishing it. Might be finishing it next time. We will see. As long as I haven't lost progress. If I lost progress, I'm gonna be questioning my life. Fury, what is it? Before I go, before I hit the end. Thanks for stream. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys coming to my reading stream. Anyway, have a very good night. Sleep well. Get something to eat. Get something to drink. Get some rest. See you soon. Good night. Onyasumi. Forgot to pause my music. Onyasumi. Bye bye bye.